First there was green.
Green technology.
Then there was sustainable. This year there's a hot new environmental buzzword.
Net zero.
Net zero.
Net zero.
Net zero.
Net zero is climate meeting insider speak for a sort of ideal state of equilibrium, when a company or country removes the same amount of carbon from the atmosphere as it emits. Theoretically, if every company and nation achieved that, global warming would stop. Imagine that. At the recent World Economic Forum, an impressive list of major companies touted their net zero pledges. After decades of inaction, climbing carbon emissions, and rising temperatures, it appears like something finally might be shifting.
We're witnessing really the emergence of a new environmental capitalism.
If governments won't fix this, corporations certainly can, right? Probably not. These corporate climate pledges might be worse than just empty promises. They could obstruct efforts to stop climate change before it's too late. We're going to show the 3 major flaws that make net zero an illusion. The first and biggest flaw: many net zero goals are set way into the future.
By 2030,
2040. 2045.
Essentially kicking the can down the road. Meatpacking giant JBS slaughters almost 9 million animals every day. That's a whole lot of methane, diesel fuel, and deforestation. JBS announced last year it's going net zero by 2040.
JBS, bringing more to the table.
But in the last 5 years, it increased emissions by 50%. 2040 is 18 years away, so it looks a lot like JBS just gave itself 18 more years to pump out the CO2. It's like promising a doctor you'll quit smoking in 18 years. But until then, you ramp up. Now, here's the second problem. This new generation of corporate pledges come with big caveats. Exxon recently committed to net zero by 2050. It's responsible for 762 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions every year, about the same as Germany. This sounds huge. It sounds almost too good to be true. It is. When an oil company says it's going net zero, don't be fooled into thinking the company plans to address emissions from the oil it actually sells. Exxon's net zero pledge doesn't cover 85% of its carbon footprint. That emission is common. Take 10 of the biggest publicly traded companies, only 2 net zero pledges address the full damage done by their businesses. That's why you always read the fine print. These pledges often rely on technology that's nowhere near ready yet. Remember, companies are promising they'll figure out how to remove carbon from the atmosphere in the future. To be fair, one idea does look sort of promising. It's called direct air capture. Essentially, giant fans suck CO2 out of the atmosphere and store it somewhere safe. But there are just 19 direct air capture plants in the entire world, which in a year can remove the annual emissions of only about 700 Americans. It'll be decades before that technology can be used at scale, if ever. Here's another potential carbon-sucking fix from Jeff Bezos.
Nature-based solutions. That's the key.
Nature-based solutions. That's usually another way of saying planting trees.
Even small things, like planting trees, can help the planet.
Actually, planting trees to offset Amazon's emissions wouldn't be a small thing. To remove the company's current emissions from the air, they'd have to plant 2.5 billion trees, an area the size of Costa Rica, every year. TED Talks, endless panels, and ovations. These glitzy events mask a terrifying truth. These corporations don't yet know how to fulfill their science fiction net zero pledges, and they've given themselves decades to figure it out. But outside the boardroom, one thing's certain: the planet's in a full-blown meltdown. And it's definitely not waiting for 2040.